Aloha, Sandra here. Trying a new location, let me know what you think. Today you're going to need 2 blocks and a strap, and if you've got extra curves, I recommend wedges. I always recommend wedges for those of you with extra curves whenever you do something lying down or sideline. So we're going to get some more activity going in the center of our bodies and our whole body since it's all connected. Okay, so I want you to start today on a little bit of height if seated does not allow you to be on the front edge of your sit bones. So I've got a beach towel. Feel free to use a beach towel if you want, or a blanket block. And let's just do a little pelvic rocking to start with, just to get into being here. Take your sit bones forward, your spine rounds. Take your sit bones back, chest opens. You can do it with your eyes closed. Notice how your spine is feeling today. All right, and then the next time you round down, hold that for a moment. So it's really total slouch, but intentional slouch is different. So that you draw your chin towards your chest, reach your arms forward, maybe you feel a little stretch somewhere along the spine, and then as you exhale, draw your navel, draw your belly in. On the inhalation, there won't be as much space to breathe. Take in the inhalation. Next time you exhale, exhale through your mouth. I just want you to feel the belly moving as you exhale. Inhale, exhale, just so you get that belly moving. And then the next time we come back through the spinal movement, pay attention to the movement in your belly. So sit bones go back, your tailbone goes back. Gradually go up the spine till you lift your chest, lift your head. Take your fingertips here, press your fingertips down, lift the chest a little. Take a nice full breath into the rib cage. Soften on the exhalation. Again, press down with your fingertips. Good. And then bring your hands onto your belly, especially let your hands rest on your lower belly. Let's take a few breaths here. So inhale, encourage a sense of expansion in the belly. Exhale, long exhalation through the mouth. Intention right now is to feel movement. So really that inhalation is how big can your belly be? Get your belly nice and big. Exhalation, don't force it in, but gentle releasing. One thing about bellies I keep meaning to write about is, there's all these images and this notion of flat bellies, but throughout the day our bellies are changing size and shape, and every moment they're changing visibly with that inhalation, with the exhalation. All right, sit bones ground, spine lengthen. Go ahead, interlace your fingers, reach your palms forward. Take your arms up to the first stopping point. Breathe, and then lift your shoulder blades. Arms up to the second stopping point. Rooting down to lift up. Release your fingers, reach your arms nice and wide out to the side. All right, so my favorite twist to get into the lower belly. We'll get there after Dandasana. So take your feet out in front. Take your hands to the bottoms of your thighs. Open up the spaces between the toes. Wiggle your toes a few times. And then cross your, left leg over your right. And then go ahead and bend your left knee if that's accessible. And interlace your fingers. Draw your knee towards your chest. Get your spine nice and long. Come back to the breath. Inhale and exhale. And next exhalation, begin to spiral to your left, letting that spiral be in the lower belly. That's why I like this twist. This is more like standing poses where you're turning towards the front leg. So the twist goes a little bit lower, a little bit more into the lower organs. You might feel a little more compression in that area, a little more squeezing, which I like to do. Okay, then when you feel you've gone as far as you can go, with the hands this way, go ahead and extend your right arm, wrap it around the knee, and take yourself more deeply into the twist. Inhale, lifting, lengthening. Exhale, spiraling. Of course, turn your shoulders and then turn your head. You can extend your left arm, or if you have something to press into that. I've got this fence. One more inhalation. On the exhalation, slowly unwind. So this location, I don't have as many chickens running around, but there's a lot more geckos. So if you take a look to your left, you will see this one is very beautiful. It's small, but it's probably right at the left side of the camera. Green, the long tail, it's looking at me, trying to figure out what's going on. Doesn't want to twist, it's just sprawled out in its belly. Maybe we'll do that later. All right, so go ahead and release. Extend both legs, wiggle your toes, and second side. Set yourself up, bend the right knee, take it to the outside of the left thigh. Either keep this leg straight or bend the knee. Take your hands to the knee and take your time. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. And then again, when you get to the point where you've reached kind of the maximum where you're holding on to the knee, go ahead, extend the arm, wrap it around the leg. Take yourself more deeply into the twist. Not being in a hurry with the head or neck. One more inhalation. Exhale, unwind. Back to center. See, the little gecko friend is right there at the edge of the staircase. It's watching an ant very intently. Okay. There you go. The Diary of a Gecko on the lanai. Let's go ahead. Come onto your hands and knees. Onto all fours. Now that we did the twist, let's get a little more movement in the spine. I like going between twists and spinal fluidity. They go well together. So a few cat and cow tilts. On your exhalation, draw the sit bones down, arch your back up, let your head release. On the inhalation, open up the chest. One more time this way. Okay, now next time when you round up the cat position, I'd like you to hold it. And on the exhalation, if you release the breath, draw your sit bones down a little more strongly. You might access the lower belly a little bit more here. Chin towards the chest. On the inhalation, come towards the cow, but not the huge one, just a mini one. And then your exhalation, come back. Sometimes this can feel really good doing a little bit of this extra rounding on the exhalation with the intention of getting the rounding in the places we don't tend to round as much. So we all tend to round our back somewhere, but there might be a spot that you actually don't round it very much, and it's actually rather flat most of the time. So as you exhale here, Try to get movement in an area that you might not tend to move as much. And you might find that your lower belly becomes part of this, as here your rib cage and your hip points come closer towards each other. One more time. All right, and then come back to neutral, and let's get some length in the spine, puppy pose. And if it feels right, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths, wiggle around, bend one knee, bend the opposite knee. And child's pose. All right, come on up to sitting. Oh, got a little friend in my hair. Oh, it's just a dry leaf. Okay, come on up. And those of you in the extra curvy club, get your wedges. We're going to lie down, put the wedges under the concavity. Under the convexity, so the higher points. And everybody, go ahead and place your hands on your lower belly. Allow your exhalation to be a little bit longer. So this is one of my favorite exercises for abdominal engagement, the grazing the grass, where we're going to keep the pelvis stable. So notice where it is right now, just a neutral pelvis as much as possible. Encourage the lower ribs and the hip points to be in line with each other. If they're not quite there, don't fret too much. You can always put a little lift under your head, especially if your eyes don't look straight up when you lie down. Or lie flat right now. Let's go ahead and extend the neck a little before we start grazing. So interlace your fingers, give yourself a little traction back there, reach your elbows away from each other. And then place your hands on the lower belly. The next time you exhale, do not take your left foot off the floor, but take the weight off of the foot. So your skin still touches the floor, but the weight of your bones is not pressing into the ground. When you do that, you'll notice that other parts of the center of your body need to engage to stabilize. The key here is to not press your left foot down into the ground, or the right foot anymore. All right, go ahead and release. So this is very subtle to look at, but it's actually quite profound in the body. So now take the weight off a little bit of the right foot. So when you take the weight off of one foot, the tendency is to want to put more weight on the other foot. Can you not do that? Do not put any extra weight on the left foot as you take the weight off the right foot. Stay breathing. And release. And come back to the first side. Lift the left foot a little bit. And release. And lift the right foot a little bit. And release. So I know some of you may be curious. Let's take the knees side to side while I talk. You may be curious, well, I'm not going to always be so subtle. Ooh, the sun just came out into my eyes. We might not always be so subtle. So we're going to do in a moment some things that require bigger movements. But it's nice to do the subtle movements first to really get access to some of the parts that we tend not to move from. I say it over and over, but that's because I'm working on it too. There's definitely certain parts of our body we always move from and others we skip. And over time, that's one of the things that actually leads towards pain, because certain places overwork, certain places get atrophied, and then over time they just stop turning on. So this is a way to get everything on task. Okay, so let's come back to center. And this time, on your exhalation, without pressing your right foot into the ground, lift your left foot off the floor. Can you do that until you bring your thigh perpendicular to the floor, and then lower it down? I know in a lot of movement practices, they do these kinds of things much faster. But today, and maybe for a while, I'm going to do them slow. Other side. Begin to lift your right foot and be mindful of what's happening to the left foot. Really try not to press the left foot into the ground. Lift and lower. And as you do that, encourage the center of your body to stay stable. So you might take one hand, or you take both hands. If you don't have the sun in your eyes, take both hands on your belly. And just try to keep the pelvis stable, so you're not flattening your back, you're not arching your back any more than it is as you go side to side. You mean to go at your own pace, lifting one leg, lowering it down, then lifting the other. All right, one more time on each side. Take the left leg up. Take the right leg up. All right, and now let's do the grand finale. Not for now, at least take the left leg up. Take your right leg up. Take your hands to your thighs. Now do not move your pelvis. You'll be engaged in your belly, but do not rock your back at all. Press your hands into your thighs, thighs into your hands. Now here you can choose how strong to make the movement. The more you press into your hands, the more you press into your thighs, the more work it will be in the belly. All right, and then release. And again, an Elvis twist. Take your knees over to the left. Lengthen through the top of the right thigh. Reach through the arms. Bring your knees back up. Same thing, other side. Lengthen through the left leg. Ah, good. And then a little Tetrasana. Tetrasana over onto your right. And let's come back to seated again. And this time we'll go a little bit more quickly, but let's come into that same twist. So take your left leg over your right thigh, bring your knee in towards your chest. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. Take your time with the breath as you go into the twist. One more inhalation here. On your exhalation, unwind and shift the cross of your legs. Inhale. Exhale. All right, and then unwind. And release, and come onto all fours. And what I recommend, if you've got blocks, sometimes it's nice to change it up, the angle. These blocks are a little bit too high than what I would ultimately do for myself, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to put the blocks under my knees so that my spine will have a different angle with the ground. So my blocks are going to be under my knees. I'm going to move here a little bit this way. Maybe you can see me better from here. Blocks under the knees. I don't need my hair tie on my fingers. Okay. So once you're here, find what's a sense of a neutral pelvis. So we're not sinking and we're not arching. We're not in the cat and cow. We're right in the center. Part of that center is having the sense of your lower ribs and your hip points being in the same line. Now from here, take your shoulders away from your ears. Let your head release. The challenge now is again to maintain stability. So we're not going to move the hips at all. And I want you not to shift any more weight into your arms or legs, but begin to bend your left elbow so you take the weight off of your left hand. Now when you do that, there's a tendency to shift the weight in the hips, to do something like that, to deal with the weight. But don't do that. Keep the same pelvis position as you lift your hands. And breathe. So you might begin to feel some belly waking up. Be careful, really, it's subtle again. And then release. Inhale. On the exhalation, shift. Take the weight out of your right hand. And notice if you feel it more on one side than the other. It's highly likely that you will, especially those of us extra curvy folks. And then release. Let's try it one more time on each side. So when you're ready, lift the left hand. Let your head hang. You can watch your hips when your head hangs. And this time maybe even put your left hand on your sacrum. It's getting easier for me to do this. So after a while you might not feel the big shift in the belly, but okay, second side. Or you might feel it on one side more than the other. Okay, and then release and circle your hips 3 times. One direction. 3 times the other direction. And let's build on this. So now the challenge is to see what happens with the hips. So what I'm going to do is remove one block. Let's do the left one. Take the block out from under your left knee. Put it off to the side. And balance there. Now, look at your hips. Encourage them to, again, be even with each other. There's a tendency to collapse there. So really hold up here. Woo, this one will most likely get your belly, I would think. Definitely gets mine. Notice if you start to shift to the right. Breathe. Alright, and then to release, place the block back under your left knee. Back to all fours. I have a tendency in all fours to have my hands a little too close to my feet. So take a look at yourself. You want to have your shoulders above your wrists, the hips under the hips above the knees. Sometimes I have my knees a little too far forward. If you notice that in the videos, I'm working on it. Okay. Second side. Now we're going to take the right knee off the block, put the block off to the side, play with that balance. Can you keep the arms straight and steady? Notice if the weight shifts towards the left. Even if the hips are even, the weight might shift towards the left as a way to deal with the challenge that the belly is experiencing. Good, and then release. You can put the foot down, grab the block again. Let's take a gentle puppy, lengthen through their spine. So if you've had enough of this, come into child's pose. Otherwise, let's build on this challenge. Might do a little wardrobe adjustment. Build on this challenge by lifting. So we're going to take the left block away, and that you might want to just stay there with the left block, or you can add also the right arm. Notice I'm not as stable here now. Trying to keep the hips even, shoulders even, root down with the left palm. Breathe. and then release. Place your knee on down. Rock your hips a little side to side. We get one more side. So second side. Begin to take the block away from the right knee. Maybe just stay here, or maybe also lift your left hand. Good. And then release. Go ahead and take the blocks off to the side. And your choice, downward facing dog or puppy pose. If you're in dog pose, bend your left knee, spiral your belly a little to the right, and then do the same to the left. Back and forth a few times. And then child's pose, everybody. Come up to sitting, and one more seated twist. This time regular cross-legged. Just take your left leg in front of your right. Ground down to lift up. Nice inhalation. On your exhalation, spiral. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the back. Letting the spiral, maybe you can see in the folds of my shirt. One more inhalation. On the exhalation, unwind as you keep your spine nice and long. Let's switch cross of the legs. Spiral to the right, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind your back. One more inhalation. On the exhalation, unwind. Back to center. And this is a kind of practice where after doing this, you might feel invigorated and want to do more. And I'd recommend, getting up, doing some standing poses, maybe doing another video that is more upright. Or if you feel you've had enough, it's time for Shavasana. So join me in lying down. First we'll do one more twist lying down. Take your time, let it be a luxurious twist with, sorry, I forgot the block, with blocks. Take the blocks, one between your feet, one between your knees, and then lift your hips up, shift your weight then over to the right, and very slowly take your knees over to the left. Keep your right shoulder on the ground so that you really get a spiral through your belly. Right, so a lot of today we've been engaging the muscles and releasing them in different positions. Twisting is a great place to do that. And then bring your knees up, lift your hips, shift them to the left, and take your knees over to the right. Inhale, bring your knees back up. And if there's any movements you feel it's right for you to do now, take a few breaths to do that. And when you're ready, make your way into Shavasana. I think I'm going to do my Shavasana on the other side of the camera because the sun's right in my eyes, but I'll be here with you. So take your time. Let your body breathe and let the flow of the breath guide you to Shavasana, to relaxation. And then, slowly and gently, bring your awareness back to your body, back to your breath. Bring a little movement to your fingers, bring a little movement to your toes. Give a little pat to your belly. And then reach a little through your arms, reach a little through your legs. Roll over to your side. And make your way up to sitting. A nice inhalation, expand into your belly. Exhale, let it go. Bring your palms together over your heart. And may our concentrated movements support us to feel better, move better, live better. And may those small focus movements allow us to do the big things that we want to do. Namaste. All right, thanks for joining me. I recommend if you liked any of these belly strengtheners, they're a really good thing to do just 1 or 2 of them before you do more vigorous practices. So the grazing the grass or the all fours lifting one foot or the other foot, just as a way to get this to wake up so that when you're then doing other movements, you'll be engaging some of those smaller muscles, including the pelvic floor muscles that we tend to skip and then we grip. Also, let me know what you think about this location, and mahalo.